Hey, Bortle here. I mean, KB's here. So played in the side event for day 2 at the Liverpool Regional. It was basically just a BT14 event. It was, I believe, 6 rounds because we had an odd number of undefeated, so we ended up playing an extra round, which is fine. Took Bloom, comfort pick. Shoutouts to Luke Campbell, who traded some Kamen Rider sleeves, so shoutouts to him. I got a deck box. The pricing for the day 2 event was actually better than the day 1 event, so that was cool. I got a deck box. That was awesome. Here's like some of the event pack stuff. Shout out to Terry, giving him all the yellow stuff. That's neat. And then let's talk about bloom cards, because I love blooming all over the place. So eggs, pretty simple. I went with 3 Coco, 2 Tariq. Still the GOAT, draws the card, like unconditionally. Tariq is good just for an egg that doesn't draw a card versus specifically Mirage. I knew there was going to be Mirage. One of my teammates who took 3rd was on Mirage. We played in bracket, and he was one of my losses because it was a 50-50 chance for me to get Coco or Tariq, and I just rolled a Coco, and that happens. So also, the Tariq helps when you have to play minimally because he gives you power versus when you have to swing with your Bloomlord, what would normally be 14 2-checks becomes 16 2-checks. So you get to swing safer into people's security. Search rookies and searchers, and the whole spiel. For Palmon, it's still your best searcher to slam. It sees the most amount of cards. It pluses 1 more often than a Lala. And then we play 3 Lala. It's still good. I would probably play 4 in the future, mostly because of that inherit. Like the inherit is sort of like one of the reasons to kind of play Bloom is just the fact that I get to abuse this inherit like a lot. You get to make stacks with 2 of the reductions, and you're basically going to Bloomlord for free. Actually going Bloomlord or Yukon and getting like 3 memory plus, and just like making crazy boards. 2 Pomu for the suspend. You might think 2's not enough.
3.
Never mind. I do play 3. Thank you. I'm just like
you might think 2 is not enough. That would be correct.
That would be correct because I played 3. In the future, I might play 2, because 2 is enough. But for now, I just play 3. It was half of this list was. I built it with shoutouts to Osman, by the way, and my girlfriend. This list was like half BT13 theory, half 14 theory. I kind of wanted to test the waters. I didn't want to take a list that was just like very focused on what the meta would potentially be in 14. Instead, I went for a very mixed approach, and it was kind of there are things here that should not be this way. Just it was more comfortable for me to play that day. So we went with 3 Pomu of the suspend, and then we went with 2 Floodgate. Still very good. This card is basically like the X1 MVP. If you're in a tournament and you go X1 like early on and you play against a bunch of weird decks, this card just checks all the weird decks. And we're actually very fortunate that Fenrir is a very good deck, in a tier 1 deck that actually plays for board as well. So a lot of your combos in BT14, you'll want to end the turn, or at least at some point in your turn, you want to play the Pomomon and keep it on the field. Because it basically forces the Fenrir player to reset their stack and going to Hellugar instead of going into like their normal combo. The only way they're out is if they have Death X, and Mama Raid is no bitch, so you just always play into Death X. It doesn't matter, just play into it. Like if they have it, if they have it, they have it. 1 Palmon. This was probably incorrect. Should have maybe been 2, but that was sort of like the theory for the deck. It was like I had a list given to me by, did I mention Osman already? Yeah. Gets 2 shoutouts. Wow. But yeah, you can probably play 2 copies of this because the card does pay for itself. It's a very good card to make on your second stack once you already have like a developed board. But the card was actually like pretty cute. The 2 memory in combination with Hydra means that like your Hydra stealing like a bunch of memory, and it's also your opponent loses memory, so it beats the Floodgate rookies, which is great. The Gazimons of the world and whatnot. For Sunflow, your board expansion like guy, it's great now more than ever because it's a level 4 that like sometimes lingers on the field. It means that you can threaten the Lily Ace, which is really good. Gets you the draws. It cycles through your whole deck. It's the OG level 4 of the Togemon. Cards like actually like really ridiculous. You have to think about Togemon in the context of your hand. On paper, the card doesn't seem that strong, and you'd be inclined to play like 2. But a lot of the times you're playing this deck to win more than you're playing this deck to not lose. So you should like, if you have the Togemon, you need to like have the Tamer to go alongside it, and then like you can either choke a 1 with and play Yoshino, or you get to keep turn and play the Mimi. This is basically like another Palmon / Lalamon because you play the Mimi for free, and then That gets you a search, and then you basically get a little hammer spark at some point in the turn, which is great. 3 copies of this. Sorry, card's still very good, and this is sort of like the card that makes the inherit like so strong. Not only does it have the inherit itself, but it also lets you evil for 2. So as long as you have, let's say, like an Agitar in the back with like 2 of the reduction inherit, so that can be a Self, a Togemon, or yeah, these are the only 2 right now that have it. And then like one of the rookies. Whenever you're going to bloom off of this, you reduce the cost by 2, and with the 2 reduction, that's a free bloom. So you just like go plus a billion memory. It's great. So the issue is that it conflicts with the trainings a little bit, but that's okay because you don't always have this. But you'll see like in my option lineup. One red Veggie. This was like a comfort thing. It's red Veggie. It's good. Don't get mad at me for flipping my cards. I need to get tested. 4 Agitar. It's the best level 5 in your deck. It does everything. It's like, you know what? I'm not gonna say it. If you know, you know. Please don't hit my Agitar.
Diablo.
Bandai, please give us a green Agitar.
Yeah. First of all, why doesn't this have like a nicer rarity than like pre-release, which I don't even have because I'm broke, and yeah, like just give it an altar or something. But yeah, this card is basically like the reason why Bloom is so strong. It's because of this card like alone. Like it's your target level 5. Every game that you don't see Agitar feels awful, and a lot of your early like actions are I need to get to Agitar as quickly as possible. 2 Cherry. I was a little bit afraid of like some blue flare dude that like probably imagine like you play a fresh format BT14 and somebody like bums out and they're just like I'm gonna get my run back with blue flare with Zudo Ace. Cherry just completely like invalidates blue flare. Like Cherry Quartz they just cannot play unless they have Death X, and that's basically like the whole format. Is like Bloom is so strong, and it's so strong like people are playing Death X again, just because like your boards will just win you the game. 1 Blossom, it's broken, 0 Digizorp. It gains you memory with Mimi or Yoshino, so that's cool. Should bring it back to 3 low key, like maybe even to 2. Like let's start off small. Just bring it back to 2 and then to 3. Just test. We brought Tommy Himi back, like well, just bring it back. 1 Louis Ace. This card's really cool. It gives the deck like actual real defense. And interaction on your opponent's turn, which is something that, like Bloom never had. Your interaction was like limiting the action that your opponent could take by playing Floodgates and the Quartz and the Hydra, but now you actually get to interact with them, even when you make subpar boards, which is kind of cool. The first thing is that like people are very happy to swing their like level 4s and like low DP level 5s into your guys that all have 3k DP, and going from 3 to 8 for free is like pretty big. The effect is on play on Digivolving. You suspend any Digimon and you bot deck something that's 5k or less. So if the opponent has 2 things on board, you can, if they're attacking with a small thing, you can bot deck the thing that's attacking and you get to suspend the other thing. So like it really fights people off the board early game, which is something that Bloom never had. A lot of the time it was like, do I play like an ape and I just like hope that my opponent doesn't have removal, or do I play conservatively and play for bigger turns? This kind of lets you play like in that middle of like you can kind of play up front, but you still have interaction, which is cool. The overflow doesn't matter. Like, trust me, the overflow does not matter. The 4-costed slam is like huge versus like Floodgate decks, but the draft of the deck that I have for the future, you will not lose to Floodgate decks. There won't be a single Floodgate deck that will affect you, and this card gets even better. So, would you play 2? I don't know. Maybe if you have 2 alt arts, sure. 4 Bloom. The deck is called Bloom Hydra or Bloom Quartz, not the other way around. It's still the best card in your deck. It does the most on a single turn, and it converts into like it converts your resources extremely well. Pushes for damage, big power. It's great. Never play less than 4, like ever, unless you're playing exactly like a Rosemon hybrid. But even then, like you miss not having it. Like all it takes is like 2 of these to go into your security, and you're just like down a bunch of resources. 2 Hydra. I'm gonna take a sip. 1 sec.
Stay hydrated, kids.
Stay hydrated. 2 Hydras. Weird flex. I got some common Hydras. Hydra's very good, and this was sort of like more of the BT13 theory that like you only needed like 1 Hydra to resolve, because a lot of times you're going Bloom into Quartz, and the Hydra was there to like fight off opponent Quartzes and stuff, or get rid of fraudulent stacks that didn't have security. But in the future, you could probably play 3. The card is like super, super strong. It's Hydra, like it's been around for such a long time, and it's like the reason why Bloom is good is because like it has another thing that like they can convert their bodies into like defense, right? It's just a very neat card. 3 quartz, the boss monster, well, not the boss monster, but like the level 7 of the deck, right? This is like your Omnimon, I guess, your green Omnimon, your Gomnimon. Good against Tamer decks, good against Luga, good against Greymon. It's like absolutely soulless Greymon decks. Like if they ever raise before you and try to just have like a black or Greymon stack on the field, cool. You slap this and you put me on Show Me Omni X and you just like auto win. It's a very strong card. Like what is there to say about Quartz? Like this card in any like even D Brigade considers playing this card. You know that's how good this card is. And then we're just gonna wrap up very soon here. 4 Yoshino. Sorry, not 4. 2 cost of the 4 Yoshino. Don't play the old one. The old one was weird. Even if you wanted to play like a burst deck, but yeah, I got 2 box topper shots to my girlfriend. She let me borrow these. That's cool. 4 cost Mem Tamer that produces it is effectively 4 memory because of the effect. Super good. Even if you're not playing like the Rose Burst mode and all of that, it's still like a crazy Mem setter to have. However, in the future, I would probably flip it for a Mimi because the old Mimi. And we can talk about like the Tamers in the context of like why I think old Mimi will be the future of this deck. This card is very insane. The new Mimi, get your pre-release stamps now. Invest in pre-release Mimis. It's the best one. You won't afford the altar, so just get these and be happy with them, okay?
Smells like broken here.
Yeah, I'm the broke one, so just get pre-release. Trust me. Get the pre-release Mimis. These are the real max rarity ones. So this is effectively a Mem boost, right? So you play, you search 3. It only searches for plants, magicians, and fairies, which is fine. So you just have to deck build around that. And every time an opponent, a Digimon is suspended out of yours or your opponent's, on your turn, you get to tap her to gain a memory. Now, why is this card so good? Well, with 1 Mimi, you have Hammer Spark every single turn. With 2 Mimi, you have Memory Boost every single turn. You get the same value from the initial search, but if you ever get 2 of these on the board, every single turn you have effectively a Memory Boost delay, which is crazy. It's a very good card. However, it has turns where it can be a little bit awkward because if you don't have anything on the field, the card's not doing anything. So that's why it's better if you play the old Mimi, so then that way you can constantly feed the new Mimi. Like both Mimis working together is, I think, where the deck is strongest. However, Yoshino is still very strong if you play more towards that temple style of game plan where like you make one big stack. You make one big board and you're trying to win off of that turn. However, that tends to lose to Death X a little bit more. So if you like the recursion, there's an argument to make that you play like that mix. And that's pretty much it for the Tamers. That's sort of like the theory that I built around. However, these were not the weakest cards in my deck, but they were the cards that you could either lean more into these or cut them completely. It's up to you. I played 2 trainings, 1 boost. If you want to lean more into them, you'd play another boost. The reason is because you don't want to get checked by a deck that plays one of the 2 floodgates that beats one or the other. If you play against like yellow, they can play the Cutemon to stop you from reducing the Evo cost. So, these could just die and you then have to spend resources on outing it. If you play only boosts, then you lose to Gazimon a bit harder. You have other ways to beat it with your Tamers, but you don't want to, put yourself in a position where you're losing versus them. If you cut them completely and you play the Mimi style of deck, you don't lose to any of them, which is very insane. And then finally, the most insane card in the deck, it's Hidden Potential. Weepy! You should win every time you resolve this card. Should they ban it? No, actually bring it back. Just bring it back, bro. Just bring it back. Turn off the video. Bring it back. Just bring it back. Just bring back HPD.